We are going to spend the next hour or so talking about one of my favorite topics, money. Yes, sir.
Do we get 1,000 points?
Yeah, if you're in your seat, however many he's been giving you, give it to yourself. It's the honor system, right? Okay. We're going to spend the next hour talking about one of my favorite topics in the world, money. Now, I'm going to show you how to raise $1 million to fund all your deals. We've been talking for the last two days and then this morning about the real estate game and self-improvement and how you can improve your life, improve your situation. And this is absolutely one of the critical elements of the real estate game is funding, okay? And it's a stumbling block for most people. Most people find raising money a bit of a challenge. Folks, I got to tell you, it's going to, by the end of today, you're going to realize how easy it is, and you're going to shake your head saying, why did I think it was so hard? Okay. As before, I'd like to ask you to hold your questions till the end. If I have time after the presentation, I'll answer as many questions as we have. If not, if we don't get them all answered during the course of the next hour, I'll be in the back of the room on the break. At lunch, I'll be available, and at the end of the day. We don't want you leaving here today without every question you have answered. Okay? Raising money. I'm going to teach you today how to raise $1 million to fund all your deals. It's easy, easy, easy. I'm going to show you how to raise money without relying on banks and mortgage companies. I'm going to show you how to raise money without relying on hard money lenders. Now, hard money lenders are a great resource for funding. Blake Yarbrough was in here yesterday at lunchtime. Was it yesterday or the day before? Day before. See, when you're having as much fun as we do, time just flies. So Blake gave you a little bit of an insight into hard money lending. And hard money lending, as we mentioned yesterday, the main difference between hard money lending and private money lending is hard money lending is done by a company whose business it is to loan money. Private money lending is done by an individual who may be an engineer, a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a truck driver. It doesn't matter. They're not in the business of lending money. They do it on the side as a way to improve their return on their money. But hard money lenders are available to you, with a fast phone call. Now, there are some challenges using hard money lenders, but one of the biggest benefits of using a hard money lender is if you have a deal and the hard money lender will not fund the deal because of the deal itself, not because of any qualification that you may or may not have, but if the deal itself does not qualify for hard money lending, you should not be doing the deal. Run like a scalded dog. It's not a deal you want to get involved in. That's one of the best benefits of using a hard money lender is they can review your deal and make sure that it's a viable deal. Okay, I'm going to show you how to raise money without having to pay loan origination points. Who has used a hard money lender in the last? What kind of loan origination points do they charge you? 13.5% interest, 3 points. Daryl, what kind of points do they charge you?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 points. A point is nothing more than 1% of the loan amount. Well, if I'm doing deals now where my loan amount is $400,000 plus, so 1 point is $4,000. 3 points is $12,000. That starts eating into your profit pretty good. Now, if your deal can't support 13% and 3 points, don't do the deal. If it can support 13% and 3 points, If you use a hard money lender that's only charging you 10% and no points, the rest of that money goes in your pocket as profit. I'm going to show you how to raise money without having to make monthly payments. I'm going to show you how to raise money regardless of your personal credit score. I talk to a lot of people. I raise a fair amount of private money, $7.2 million over a 2-year period of time. Each and every month I raise between $100,000 and $500,000, and that's all I do now. Everything else in my business is outsourced, delegated, or handled by employees or partners. So all I do is raise money. And so I talk to a lot of private money lenders. It took 71 private money lenders. I talked to 71 private money lenders before anybody ever asked me about my credit. Now, I got good credit. I don't mind sharing my credit, but nobody asked. 71 people were willing to give me money without even knowing whether I was creditworthy or not. So you don't have to worry about your credit score. I'm going to show you how to raise money regardless of what your current income is. I'm going to show you how to raise money without having to show large cash reserves. One of the challenges of hard money, and don't get me wrong, I love hard money. I'm using hard money on this deal I told you about that I told you about yesterday that I'm doing in Dallas, because I thought it'd be real easy to take my private money lenders up to Dallas with me. It wasn't the case, so I had a time frame I had to commit to, so I called a hard money lender. He funded the deal for me. Okay, but that deal requires cash reserves, and here's why. On this deal, we spent $310,000 to buy the property. We were planning on $150,000. We ended up spending $167,000 on the rehab. So the lender at closing, he funded the $310,000 purchase. And then he put the $150,000 off to the side in reserve and doled it out in draws. Now, the first draw was like $25,000, but I had to fund the first phase of the rehab out of pocket. I had to do the first phase of the rehab at my own expense. So I had to reach into my pocket, bring out 25 grand, get the contractor started, get that much work done. Then I went to the hard money lender and got reimbursed for that $25,000. So the lender didn't want to loan me any money until he knew that I had sufficient cash reserves to cover that first $25,000 and then some. Well, with private money, they don't care. I'm going to show you how to put money in your pocket every time you buy. Normally, we make our money when we buy, and we realize it when we sell. I'm going to actually show you how to put cash in your pocket the day you buy property. Okay. I'm going to show you how to have money available, cash money, for property so you can close quickly and get the best deals. If you and I are going heads up for the same property, and you have to go get a loan from a bank or a mortgage company, and I've got cash, which offer do you think the seller is going to like better, mine or yours? The cash offer, absolutely. It's solid, it's there, it's ready to go. Well, private money is considered cash. It's treated just like cash. I'm going to show you how to have money to buy virtually any kind of real estate. We've been talking about single-family residential and multifamily residential and other kinds of commercial properties. Chewy Terrazas is going to come up here this afternoon and have some discussions specifically about commercial properties. Well, with private money, you can use it to fund any kind of real estate. Single-family residential, multifamily residential, rehabs, rentals, apartments, office buildings, strip centers, self-storage units, raw land, mobile homes, mobile home parks, virtually any kind of real estate can be funded with private money. I fund almost all of my acquisitions with private money. All of my acquisitions, all of my rehabs, including my multifamily. And then I typically use bank funding to replace that high interest private money, relatively high interest private money. I use bank funding for my long-term hold properties. Okay. I'm going to show you how to have money available to buy virtually any kind of asset. Private money can be used to fund anything. If it's an asset that you can own, you can fund it with private money. Things like heavy equipment, fleet of vehicles, oil and gas equipment, oil and gas leases, medical equipment, private companies, gold and other precious metals, on and on and on and on. If it's an asset that you can own, you can fund it with private money. Okay? I didn't give you my resume, my complete resume yesterday. I mentioned a couple of things. I want to go over a few bullet points. And the reason I'm telling you a little bit about my background is I think you should know that when people are standing up in front of you and dispensing knowledge and helping you learn the business, you should have some essence that they are qualified to speak and qualified about the subject that they're speaking about. So I want to give you a little background on me. I bought my first investment property in 1974. I was a slow learner. I didn't realize that real estate would be a great way to earn a living. I thought it was just a great way to make a little extra money on the side. I bought 40 acres, split it into 4 10-acre parcels, sold those parcels off, carrying the paper, creating a flow of income for 10 years. And I thought, wow, this is great. Beats the womp out of putting my money in the bank. Okay? It took me a while to realize that not only was it a good way to make a little money on the side, it's actually a good way to make a living. Okay, I've been involved in all kinds of real estate transactions, including real estate brokerage, land speculation, land development, spec building. Is there anybody who does not know what spec building is? Okay, spec building is when you build a house or build any kind of a structure. You build something and you don't have a built-in buyer. You build it on spec, or you speculate that you're going to be able to sell it. You build a house, sell it, build a house, sell it, build a house, sell it. Unlike what a developer does, a home builder does, he goes in, he buys a subdivision and builds 5 or 6 models, and that's all he does is he builds the models. Then he waits for a buyer to come along and say, I want model A on lot 12, and then he builds that house for that customer. So he's got the built-in customer already for the house. Spec building, you build it hoping that you'll have a customer. Anyway, that's what spec building is. I've done that. I've done office building construction, note brokerage. I made my living just trading paper for 2 years, brokering notes, brokering discounted notes, rehabbing and landlording. I love rehabbing. I love landlording. Now, I don't like some of the elements of rehabbing, and I don't like some of the elements of landlording, so I don't do them. I haven't talked to a tenant in 10 years, and I like it that way. I love my tenants. I just don't want to talk to them. And I don't want them talking to me at 3 in the morning saying, I've got a toilet that's stopped up. So I don't talk to my tenants. I don't even know the names of most of my tenants. Okay? But I love them because those checks come in every month. Love those checks. Okay. I've been involved in all kinds of creative transactions, including purchasing properties sub 2 or subject to. We talked about a little bit about that advanced strategy yesterday when we went over the deal matrix. Subject to is when you buy the property subject to the existing financing. You take over somebody else's loan, basically. Lease options, we talked about those. I've done dozens of lease options, dozens of sub 2 deals. land trusts, syndications, structuring deals with contracts for deed, all kinds of creative ways to do real estate. I've served on the board of directors of one of the local real estate clubs, the Rich Realty Investment Club of Houston. I am now a coach for prosperity. I'm on the coaching staff here with Tim and AC, and here is the most pertinent qualification for this topic. For the topic we're talking about now, over the last 24 months, I've raised over $7.2 million to fund the acquisition and rehab of my real estate deals. I raise every month between $100,000 and $500,000 in private money. That's what gives me the credibility to speak to you about this topic. Okay, because we're getting into a little bit of a sensitive area, I got to give you a disclosure. This presentation is believed to contain accurate information. However, the presenter is not an attorney, and the information dispensed should not take the place of competent legal search. And basically, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. We're going to talk about some issues that you need competent legal and accounting advice. So the disclosure is, don't do this stuff until you run it past your attorney and make sure it complies with all the SEC regulations. SEC is the Security and Exchange Commission. Okay, bags of money. I want to talk about three sources of funding: traditional funding, hard money funding, and private money funding. Now, there's lots of other bags of money out there. There's lots of other sources of funding. I'm going to talk about these three in some detail. I'm not going to delve into them at great length, but I am going to touch on some of the generalities about these three sources of funding. The first is traditional funding. Well, traditional funding, banks and mortgage companies, is all based on the borrower. It's based on the borrower's income, your credit score, your income to debt ratio, your housing expense ratio, down payment, not only the amount, but the source of it, the job you're in, the job stability, the stability of your industry. It's all about you, the borrower. Has anybody gone to a banker or a mortgage company to get a loan? A lot of y'all. Oh, okay, good. You remember at closing when you signed a whole bunch of papers? Remember before even before you got to closing, you had to basically it was like going to the proctologist. They wanted it was like they're putting a scope up your hiney they want every bit of information about you and your personal life and certainly your financial life. Okay, it's all borrower based. It's all based on the borrower. Hard money lending is what's called asset-based funding. Now, years ago, hard money lenders didn't even pull your credit. Who in the audience has used hard money? About 5 or 6 of y'all. Who has used it more than 15 years ago? Well, I will tell you, 10, 15 years ago, hard money lenders wouldn't even run your credit. They didn't care about you. All they cared about was the asset. Now, hard money lenders, and those of you that have gotten hard money loans within the last 5 or 10 years, back me up on this. Now, hard money lenders, they run your credit. They don't put a lot of weight on your credit, but they want to know you're credible. But what hard money lenders are looking at is the asset. They're called asset-based lending, and they're more interested in the asset than they are in you. They're concerned about the LTV, the loan-to-value ratio. If you go out and get a loan from a mortgage company, What kind of a down payment do you have to put down? Shout it out. 20%. What's the least you can get? 5%. So 5 to 20%. Hard money lenders start at about 30%. Yeah. Loan to value is going to be about 70% on the maximum side. Now, is that a bad thing? No, because remember, we told you yesterday, you buy properties based on the after repaired value times 0.70. There's that 30% right there in the calculation. Okay? Hard money lenders want to know that you have the ability to make payments. They want to know that you can pay their interest-only fees during the life of the project. Their loan terms are usually short-term, 6 to 12 months. Every once in a while you'll have a program that a hard money lender will offer it at 18 to 24 months. But generally they're 6 to 12 months. Loan origination points, we heard earlier. 3 points was about what we heard from this audience. Hard money lenders charge anywhere from 2 to 5 points. Proposed exit strategy. A hard money lender is going to want to know that you've got a way out of the deal, that you've got a viable plan to pay them off. And then they have the cash reserves, which we already talked about, so you can fund the first phase of the rehab. So that's what a hard money lender looks like. All right. Private money, on the other hand, is almost exclusively based on the relationship between the lender and the borrower. Private money funding is relationship based, and it's based almost exclusively on the relationship between the lender and the borrower. The things that are most important to private money lenders is the borrower's experience and credibility. Okay. Now, that's why I like private money better than the other sources for the acquisition and rehab of my deals. Yes, sir. Private money is relationship based. Is based almost exclusively on the relationship between the lender and the borrower. Okay. What do private money lenders look like? We already said that hard money lenders are companies like Capital Concepts, Blake Yarborough. You saw him yesterday. Did you meet some of his team members yesterday? Did he bring a couple of staff members with him? Well, they were here. He just didn't introduce them. Jet Lending, ISB Capital, Red Door Funding. There's a bunch of hard money lenders around town. Noble Mortgage. There's a fair number of hard money lenders around town. Those are companies set up, and that's what they do for a living. That's the purpose of existence of their company is to be a hard money lender. Private money, on the other hand, is generally an individual who looks just like you and me. They are ordinary. Can you hold it till the end, if you'd be kind enough? Trust me, I will get it answered for you. So private money lenders are individuals. They're just like you and me, ordinary folks. A lot of people ask me all the time, where do you find private money lenders? You want to know the secret? I'm sorry? Everywhere. They're hiding in plain sight. They are everywhere. If you had the opportunity to meet everybody in this room, I'll bet you'd find at least one good private money lender prospect sitting right where you're sitting today. I promise you, there's at least one of y'all that is a good private money lender prospect. You might not know it yet. I might have to educate you on how to become a good private money lender. But more than likely, there's somebody in here who's earning crappy returns from the bank. They've got a chunk of change. They got a 401k. They've got an IRA. They've got some money set aside. They've got some retirement money set aside, and it's earning them next to nothing in the bank or in a. Now, is the stock market doing well this year?
Yes.
Yeah, it's doing great. Is it going to do great next year? I don't know. Trust me, in 2008, a lot of people were disappointed by the stock market. A lot of people. I have one of my private money lenders who lost virtually half of his retirement overnight in 2008. He lost so much money he had to go back to work in order to try and rebuild his retirement account after 2008. So the stock market's like a roller coaster ride. You never know what it's going to do. Now, right now it's doing great. Is it always going to do great? I promise you, there will be a bear market somewhere along the line. We're going to run into a bear market. Can you hold it to the end, Surrender, if you'd be kind enough? I've got a lot of material to cover, but I will tell you this. I will answer it. I promise you I will answer every question at the end or after the session. I promise you. I don't want anybody going home today without all of your questions answered. So please, if you got a question, write it down and we'll cover it. Okay, so here's some private money lender prospects. A CPA, an attorney, a banker, a doctor, a dentist, a barber, a hairstylist. These are great private money lender prospects. Okay? Here's some more. REIA Club members. We have a prosperity group, holds a networking event every month, and I promise you that private money lenders show up to our networking event. Come to our networking event, bring a stack of business cards, and get out there and meet people. Service club vendors, clubs like Rotary and Kiwanis and the Lions Club, country club members. One of my private money lenders, a guy named Alan, started out, the first time he made a private money loan to me, he'd only been doing it a short while. He made a private money loan to me, and he had his money, he had his wife's money, and he had their money. They were both on their second marriage, and they both had brought money to the marriage from previously to getting married, and then they had the money that they were accumulating during their marriage. Then he started handling, when his father-in-law saw how well he was doing by making private money loans, his father-in-law said, "Hey, take some of my money and loan it out and help me make high returns, double-digit returns, safely and securely, backed by local real estate." Then he started dealing with his brother's money. And then he started going to the country club. He was going to the country club, golfing. He's a computer guy by trade. But he'd go to the country club, and he'd be on the golf course, and he'd be in a foursome. And the conversation would roll around to investments. And he started talking about what he was doing with his private money. Now he manages not only his own money, his wife's money, their money, his father-in-law's money, his brother's money, several other family members' money. He's now managing money from his buddies at the country club who wanted to make private money loans, and he's helping them do it. So country club members are great sources of private money lending. Church members, former employers or employers, neighbors, relatives. My first private money lender was my mother. Now that was a while back. She's gone, rest her soul. Actually, it was my stepmother. My stepmother was my first private money lender, and my brother was my second private money lender. Now my brother's still with us. He's a little younger than I am. He's 15 months younger than I am, and he's still a good private money lender for me. Have any of you heard never borrow money from friends and family? Well, depending upon what you're going to do with the money, and depending upon your ability to repay the loan, and depending upon your rate of return that you would give your friend or your relative, I think that is totally bogus. If I have the ability to pay double-digit returns safely and securely, backed by local real estate, why in the world would I exclude my family or my friends from the opportunity to make a good investment? See, one of the things that you have to understand is, with a private money situation, a private money lender's got the money over here. I got the deal. I got what they need. So I don't go to my private money lenders with the attitude that I'm looking for money. I go to my private money lenders with the attitude that I have a wonderful investment that you can take advantage of. It pays double-digit returns, safely and securely, backed by local real estate, and you have the opportunity to join me in this investment. And that's the attitude that I go looking for money. I never go, Will was talking about posturing previously. It's the same thing. I don't go to somebody saying, "Oh, I've got this deal." It's a great deal. It's worth $100,000 if it's all fixed up. Right now, it's in bad shape. We can fix it up. It'll only cost $20,000 to fix it up. So if you could loan me $50,000, see your way clear to maybe loan me another $20,000 for $70,000. We can tie this thing up and we can both make some money. It's a great deal. But I don't know if you got the money or not. But would you consider something like that? No, that's not the way you do it. If you go into a presentation with a private money lender like that, trust me, they're not gonna want to invest with you, because you're not showing confidence. You're not demonstrating that you have a good vehicle for them to make money safely. Okay, so these are just some of the sources of where you can find private money lenders. Now, I want to talk about this one to some extent, because this is a great resource where you can actually go in an organized fashion and seek out private money lenders. In other words, attitude, offer investment opportunities to people with money. Okay? Several of the clubs around town allow you the opportunity to get up in front of their group when they have a networking event. They allow you the opportunity to get up in front of your group and pitch products or services or deals. Okay? Well, I used to go to a number of networking events around town, and I would go with a stack of business cards, a flyer that told a little bit about me and my company, and here's what I would do. I'd get up in front of the group and I'd say something like, "Hi, my name is Jim Kennedy, and I'm a full-time real estate entrepreneur based right here in Houston, Texas. And what I do is very simple. I buy distressed properties, fix them up, and turn around and sell them to owner-occupied retail buyers. And in the course of doing so, I use private money to fund the acquisition and rehab of all these projects. All of my deals are validated by third-party independent appraisals. I've got extensive experience in doing this. I've been doing it for well over 20 years. I've rehabbed over 100 houses. All of my projects come in under budget and on time. And I've got a flyer here that lists some of the benefits of doing business with me and my company. And I've got business cards, and I'll be at the back of the room. Anybody who's interested in talking to me about earning above average returns safely and securely, backed by local real estate, please see me at the back of the room on the break or after the program. Again, my name's Jim Kennedy. Thank you very much. That was it. Now, I practiced that little spiel in front of a mirror. If you're married, you can put together a little spiel and practice it with your significant other. And you can do the same thing I did, stand up in front of these groups, and you'll be amazed at how many people will approach you wanting to learn more about private money lending. Now, notice I didn't say I've got this deal. I didn't say I've got this deal. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage home in Katy. I wasn't pitching a deal. I was pitching the concept of private money lending. Then I made myself available. I didn't approach them. I let them approach me. So if somebody came up to me, as they always did, on the break and asked for one of my flyers, I'd get a business card. I'd exchange business cards. If they didn't have a business card, they got one of my universal cards that they got to fill out. There's a blank business card size form where they could write their name, phone number, and email address. And we'd chat for a minute or two. I'd answer a couple of questions. I'd let them ask 2 questions. Then I'd cut them off and I'd say, those are really great questions. It sounds like you might have some more. What I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, is maybe we could get together sometime over the next couple of weeks. Let me buy you lunch one day, and I'll bring a PowerPoint presentation that explains my private money lending program in complete detail. How does that work for you? Most of them said yes. I'd set an appointment. Or I'd say, I'll call you in a day or two. After the meeting, the first thing I'd do is send them an email. The email would say, short and sweet, "Hi, this is Jim Kennedy. We met today at the Prosperity Networking event. It was a pleasure to meet you. I'll call you in a day or two, and we'll set up a time to get together. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you and showing you how I might be able to help you with your investment objectives." Short and sweet, an email. Then I'd wait 2 days and call them on the phone. "Hi, this is Jim Kennedy. We met at the Prosperity Networking event Thursday night. Do you remember I was the heavy set fellow wearing the suit with the goatee? Oh yeah, I remember you. Well, what'd you think of the event?" Let them say something nice about the event. Then I get right to the heart of the matter. I get right to the purpose of the call. Well, the reason I'm calling is to see if we could set aside some time, maybe 30 or 40 minutes sometime over the next couple of weeks. In fact, I'd like to buy you lunch if it's all right with you. And we can get together and I can see if I can be of some help to you with your investment objectives. Set up a lunch date. Now, why lunch? I like lunch because then I get a chance to meet them on a more personal basis. I give them a chance to meet me on a more personal basis while we're breaking bread. While we're talking over the meal, it's a rapport building session. I'm getting to know them, they're getting to know me. Right after lunch, I crank up the PowerPoint presentation. I go through a credibility kit. I put together something that shows them I'm a credible person, what I've done in the past, some of the projects I've done, why real estate is a good investment, how I can pay these high returns, and I go through this bullet point, and then at the end I simply ask them, "What do you think?" And that's how I phrase it. What do you think? 90% of the time they say, that's great, that's exactly what I'm looking for. What's the next step? Well, let me ask you a few questions if you don't mind. I'll find out what kind of a loan would be suitable for you, and then I can go out and get you a good deal that meets your criteria. I'd ask them 9 qualifying questions. Boom. Easy peasy. So easy, it's like falling off a log. If you know what you're doing, if you know the process. Okay? So, that's just one way to find private money lenders. It's called networking. There's actually, in the networking arena of finding private money lenders, there's 3 types of people that I meet, or 3 types of people. One is somebody I already know, like a relative or a friend or a neighbor, and I have to develop my little pitch, my little elevator speech, if you will. Has to be geared toward somebody who already knows me. The next type is when you first meet somebody on a one-on-one basis. You meet somebody. I met somebody not too long ago at a cocktail party at the one of the neighbors threw a cocktail party, and I met a new private money lender prospect over there, and that's an easy one because what is one of the most common topics that people talk about when they first meet one another? What do you do? What do you do for a living? Well, that's easy. Well, I'm a real estate entrepreneur, and what I do is real simple. I buy houses, fix them up, and sell them, and along the way I show other people how to make above average returns safely and securely with none of the headaches and hassles of direct property ownership. I stop there. All I'm trying to do at that first step is pique their interest. That's all I'm trying to do, is get them to want to know more. Okay? So, then the third way is the way that I described earlier, where you stand up in front of a group and give a small little spiel. Any one of those 3 ways works beautifully. Somebody you already know, somebody you're just meeting on a one-on-one basis, or standing up in front of a group, and that's called networking. And that is a great way to find private money lenders. Now, I happen to know 4 other ways to find private money lenders, but the vast majority of the $7.2 million that I've raised, in fact, 80% of the $7.2 million came from that method, the networking method. It's very simple. Okay, we talked about mindset and attitude a moment ago. I never ever am asking for money. I'm never going to somebody with my hat in my hand, begging them to do a deal with me. They've got what I need, which is the money. I've got what they need, which is the deal. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. So I go into it with the attitude that what I've got is an investment opportunity for you to make above average returns safely and securely, backed by local real estate, with none of the headaches and hassles of property ownership. And that's the attitude I use when I first meet people. Okay, here are the websites for the Federal Security and Exchange Commission and the State Securities Board. You can go on those websites, and you must be in compliance with them in order to do what I'm describing for you to do. Now, based on the method that I use to find private money lenders, my SEC attorney, not my real estate attorney, my SEC attorney has told me that I'm in full compliance with all regulations, and I am exempt from registering as a lender. as a money raiser, if you will. Before you do what I do, I want you to get your SEC attorney, not your divorce attorney, not your corporate attorney, not your heaven forbid, not your criminal attorney. I got the traffic ticket the other day, and I started getting direct mail from guys that get out of your ticket. Lawyers sending me things saying, get out of your ticket. It's like, yeah, hey, I'm getting out of my own ticket. I'm going to traffic school. The court's letting me do that. Anyway, the SEC attorneys is a specialty, and I give you mine. I tell you mine, but she passed away. She's a young woman. I'm in the process of seeking a new SEC attorney. If any of you all have a good one, let me know. Anyway, before you raise any money, you should talk to an attorney and make sure that you're in compliance and that you're not doing anything that could get you in trouble with the law. My attorney has said the way I raise money, I'm exempt from having to register. Okay? You have to do all kinds of paperwork, and now I am going through registration because I'm putting together a PPM, a private placement memorandum, but that's a different story. Anyway, when you're raising private money, the most important thing to do, do you guys want to know what it is? In fact, the key to success, it's real simple. Take action. That's it. You got to take action. Now, what's the action steps? This afternoon, we're going to give you a 30-day game plan of action steps to take to raise $1 million and to find deals as well. We're going to give you what you need to do starting tomorrow. Now, actually, we've been giving you homework assignments each night here, and that's so you're already on your way to building your real estate wealth. I wanted to take a moment, if I may. Can I pick on you, Hugo? Hugo, how long you been doing real estate, Hugo? Almost 2 years. Come on up here, buddy. Can I have a mic for Hugo, please? Hugo and I are partnering on that deal in Midtown, and what I want Hugo to tell you all about, you didn't know I was going to bring you up here, did you? Put him on the spot. What I want Hugo to tell us about is he has just recently raised some private money, and I'd like for you to tell the group a little bit about what you did, how you did it.
Just followed everything that you told me, and the last Flipping for Millions seminar 3 months ago with Fabian, there was a gentleman in the audience that wanted to get into rehab. He wanted to do wholesale with his wife. They came to my office, but they were retired, and I said, look, why are you looking to do all this stuff? This is hard work, like, leave it to the young people. Don't you have money sitting around? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, just put it to work with me, right? I've got deals, we can fund them, we can buy it. And I raised with him in about 15-minute conversation with his wife there about $200,000. That's what he wanted to start with. I just closed our third rehab that we're doing right now last Tuesday with his money, and it was $90,000. It was $75,000 for the acquisition, and the rest was for repairs. And that goes right in line with what you're saying. You got private money lenders right here that you don't even know about. You just need to start talking to them with the mindset that they're not helping you, that you actually have something that you can offer, and that's the real value of coming to events here at Prosperity, is you really get real people with you get real results, right? It's not just all talk and fluff. I couldn't believe how easy it was to raise money that fast. So, yeah, that's my experience.
Good deal. Let's acknowledge Hugo. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And he didn't know I was going to call on him. I've got 13 seconds left. I'll answer one question, then I'll answer as many questions as need be at the end. Surrender, I think you, well, I'll tell you what. 3 people raise your hands. I'll answer all 3 of them. Surrender, go ahead.
You talked about this group, some of us having money, and that may be very good. But let's take the 8 seconds out first. If we are here just because we all want to invest in real estate, why would we act as private lenders to somebody else to take that money rather than doing the same thing for ourselves?
His question is, why wouldn't you use your own money to fund your own deal? Is that essentially what you're asking?
Lend it to somebody else rather than investing that money in our own real estate deals that we are trying to fund.
Good question. You're going to run out very fast. I don't care how much money you got. It is a finite amount. There's only so much of it. You're going to run out very quickly. So you should learn how to raise money from other people. Now, I'll tell you what I do. I borrow other people's money to fund my deals, and then I loan my money out on other people's deals. Now, I do that for some tax reasons, but that's not an uncommon experience. When I first started, I only had so much money. I could do one deal, and then I was stuck. Then I had to go to the banks and mortgage companies, and then I graduated into hard money lenders. When the spigot got turned off by the bank, they said, "We're not going to loan you any more money yet." Well, why not? All my properties are cash flowing. I'm making good money. No, you have too many loans. Made no sense to me. So then I got into hard money, and then I ultimately graduated into private money. So that's why you do that, is because it's a finite resource. Yes, sir.
Is there a limitation or a cap for private or hard money that you deal with in the local area, like going outside of the state?
His question is there a limitation that says you have to do it locally? I don't know. All of my private money lenders live in the state of Texas, with the exception of my family. My mother and my brother live outside the state. All of my other private money lenders live here in Texas. So, quite honestly, I don't know. That would be an excellent question for you. Oh yeah, all my exes are in Texas, Tim says in the back. That would be an excellent question for an SEC attorney. I just don't know the answer. And there was one question. Yes, Yvonne. I'll tell you what, we have the email addresses of everybody here. I'll email you the 9 questions. It's actually 11 questions, but the last 2 only get asked in specific situations. Folks, I'm out of time. Who's up next? I'm out of time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and you get the next here from AC. George. Oh, you got your own mic. Good deal. Okay, well, while he's getting set up, I'll answer one more question while he's getting set up.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Her question is, what is the rate of return that I'm able to give back to my lenders? If I can't pay 15 and 3, I'm not gonna do a deal. It's too risky. Now, that's 15% and 3 points. What do I pay my private money lenders? Anywhere from 6 to 14. 6% to 14%. I have a couple of private money lenders that I have to pay them 1 point. Most of my private money lenders, I don't pay any points. Most of my private money lenders, I don't even make any payments during the life of the loan. I accrue the interest and pay them when I get paid, they get paid. And most of my private money lending, my private money borrowing is generally about 10 to 12%.
I know. Practice.
Per project. Her question was, how long do I keep the money? And it's per project. However long the project takes. My projects used to take 3 months or less. My projects now are taking 6 months and more because I'm doing much bigger deals. You saw some of the deals yesterday that I'm involved in now. These are rehabs that I'm spending over $100,000 on. They're still working on the technology, so I'll answer another question.
I know the Dodd-Frank Act kind of messed up lease options and other ways to do deals. Has it affected private money lending?
His question is, has Dodd-Frank affected private money lending? Because it's affected other ways to do deals like lease options and other stuff. No, it has. As far as I know, Dodd-Frank has had no impact on private money lending. However, as I mentioned, there are regulations that you have to comply with. And you have to make sure that the method that you're using to attract private money qualifies for an exemption. Let me tell you what my attorney told me. My attorney said, because I have 4 touches, when I talk to somebody about private money, I talk to them 4 different times before I ever bring a deal to the table. When I meet them, when I send them an email, when I make a phone call, and when I have an appointment. I never pitch a deal until I've done those 4 things first. I meet them, I send them an email, I make a phone call, and I have an appointment. I don't bring deals to the appointments. When I have the appointment, I'm simply building rapport and building my credibility. Okay, looks like our technology problems are resolved. We're ready to go. Please welcome back AC Ramos.
Can you hear me? Hello, hello. All right.